This is the first live show I ever do in English. So if you are talking English and you are fluent that, excuse my Swedish English accent. So ask any questions. It's up to you what you want to know. Um, I will talk about my journey. Maybe people are going to watch this and maybe heard of my great weight loss, because in recent years I have dropped a lot of weight. It's around 370 pounds now. So I have almost dropped everything. I got from severe obese to soon pretty much normal weight. I have around 60 pounds left to drop before I get to my normal weight. And this is done with pretty much the food. And the last 15 months, I incorporate also fasting. And under these years, I also done a lot of reading and studies on my own just to biohack my health. And let's see if I can see any live chat here. So if you have any questions about the weight loss and how to do it, just ask. I will try to answer them as good as I can. We'll see if I can find a live show here. I have a computer on also. But anyway, this journey started 2019 in September the 16th. And I was invited to a Swedish group called Carnivore in Nordic. And I can send a link to that in Swedish side. You can also be a member there, even if you talk English. So everyone is welcome in that group, and they are very kind, most people there. So I was invited there, and I started to change my life, and I was pretty much almost dead. I was more dead than alive, because I was so severe obese, and I had dropped a little weight before, but I also gained it back before starting carnivore. I did some stupid things like calorie restriction for a couple of years, and that almost killed me because my mitochondria just stopped working. I realized today. This acknowledge I getting the last 4.5 years in this journey have managed me to try to educate other people what really happened in the body and what the measurements shows after 4.5 years. I did a full blood test 4 days ago, and it shows that I am perfectly healthy for the first time in my life. I have had problems with arthritis. I have a deep contracture. The fingers start to getting stiff and not being usable. And this is totally gone. I have IBS. I have eczema. I have blood in stools. I can count up a lot of problems I live with. You're born with stuff, and you think that that's your path in your life, but it turns out it wasn't my path. It actually changed way more than I think it will do. And today I have no problems left. It's all gone. I don't have eczema. I don't have allergy, from pollen, and I don't have arthritis. I don't have any of those problems anymore. Oh, hi. At last, someone is asking some questions. We'll see here. I can read it on the computer too. David, yes. Hi, I started a week ago, and the first week easier than I thought. Yes. The biggest problem I did when I started this journey, and today I know better. Therefore, I will try to help other people, because I help people in Sweden. I have people that going over Facebook I used to talk with on Messenger. Also, I have meeting with people in real life that are living near me. And this knowledge I have got for 4.5 years. I have done the last year almost now live show in Facebook in Swedish, and I have followers. But the goal is not followers. The goal is to help other people, because can I fix my health and come back to life, then I think many other people can be helped about my knowledge of, about this journey back and how to get your health back. Because I realized after listening to Benjamin Bickman and Jason Fung, and there are a lot of people I listen to, and I take all that knowledge to me and I read and I try to find more stuff. And I follow a path now that is called deuterium. It's something that people get in contact with every day because you have it in the body, of course. And deuterium is heavy water, and it's natural in humans in a small amount. I think it's around 10 to 12 picomole that is normal in the human body. The problem I have found now is that when you drink diet coke or diet soda, it's aspartame in those sodas. Even if it's not sugar, it's aspartame. And the real name for aspartame is aspartame D5. And what is the D5? The D5 is deuterium. They actually bind a heavy water molecule to the aspartame, for the anaphyllene source, and to create a sweet taste, because heavy water is a bit sweet. So they amplify it to make the aspartame get sweeter with heavy water. And people drink that heavy water today, the diet cokes, diet soda, and it's not affecting your blood sugar. Of course, it doesn't. It doesn't affect your blood sugar, and it's maybe a little can affect your insulin. But I have tested with, check my insulin, but it doesn't do that either that much. But it's do something worse, and that will not get to you directly. It will take time. It slows down your mitochondria, and there is studies on that. All that knowledge over 40 years old. The deuterium is bad for your mitochondria if it goes over 14 picomole and up. And many people today have around 14 to 16 picomole today. And that slows down your mitochondria. And normally your mitochondria is accelerating around 9,000 RPM. And then when your mitochondria get affected by deuterium, it slows down. So your metabolism goes down. And if metabolism goes down, your energy expand, when you eat it in, it will not work as it should. So your nutrition uptake will go down and your body will not burn the food you eat. You can always take up the sugar stuff and the fat, but you cannot do energy with it because your mitochondria is slowing down a bit. And that's not good for you. And I believe if you look back from I think in the United States, they released Diet Cokes in 1974, 75, I think it was. And in Sweden, we got it 10 years later, 1984. And if you look at the health of the body in people, you can see the United States, the fat, people started getting fat in the late 70s. It was not just the seed oil that was a problem, I think. It was also the Diet Cokes. So I don't believe you can actually manage to be healthy drinking that stuff too much. It's everything. You can maybe drink sometimes if you're doing fasting a lot, and if you're also eating carnivore diet, you will automatically lower your deuterium level. So the fasting is a way for your body to clean out the increased deuterium that you will get from either, you have the sugary stuff, because deuterium also binds the carbs in starchy vegetables. So you have potatoes, you have fruit like ananas, you have bananas, everything of those. If you have eaten that before, it will contain a lot of deuterium, because deuterium binds to the sugar molecules in fruit and also veggies. Plus, you drink in the Diet Cokes, it get too much. I will have to read. I have some. I hope you understand me when I talk English, because I normally talk Swedish. We'll see. It's kind of prefer only drink water. Yes. Keep ear carnivore much easier. Does the carnivore diet reduce the term? Yes, it does. The carnivore, keto diet, because carnivore is the most keto you can eat, because it's a clean, and the deuterium level will go down. It also has another effect. If you look, you can look at this up in Google, and you will find the studies. If you eat lean meat, you will make 40 of 100 grams of lean meat. You make 40 grams of metabolic water. If you eat 100 grams sugar, you make 60 grams of metabolic water in the oxidation. But if you eat animal fat, you make 115 grams of metabolic water of every 100 grams of fat. That explains if you look at people that live in, hot areas, and, old hunter gatherings, people like Maasai tribe, they don't have a lot of water, but they eat fresh meat and fat. And that fat, they make water of. And that's why when you are dropping a lot of weight, you don't get that thirsty, because the body burns down the fat, and the fat creates water, the metabolic water. Metabolic water will clean out, it take over. You get more water from that are metabolic water that ends up in your tissues. The water should be there. It shouldn't be, ending up in your stomach and everywhere. The metabolic water is the water your body uses. The other water, if you drink too much, just clean out your electrolytes. So I gone from drinking around 1 gallon or 1.5 gallon 3-4 years ago per day, even more, to drink about a half gallon, not more, maybe a little less, depends on if I do a lot of workout, like walking a lot. I try to reduce my water intake and instead increase my fat intake. So the last 2 months, I have increased my raw fat. I eat raw animal fat today. And that makes me not drinking that much water. So today I maybe go over 1/4, just 1/4, I think, not more, and not all day. So one of those soda stream bottles, that's what I have drink today. So I don't need to drink that lot of water anymore. It's just stopped, and all my electrolytes got just perfect. And before, I have problem with electrolytes. I have high blood pressure. I have low sodium level. My magnesium level was totally out of whack. Even today, I have problem. I need to eat a lot of magnesium. I eat around the double dose just to keep my system working good. And I guess I have to store up a lot of magnesium in my storage before the body will calm down a bit. But for 1 year, I eat around 40 grams of electrolytes every day. And suddenly it just says, no, I don't want it anymore. But before, I need to eat that lot of salt. That was weird to eat around 25 to 40 grams of salt. That's around 10 to 12 teaspoons of salt. I eat it almost the same as Celtic sea salt. And also we have like an Celtine salt. It's like a mix of sodium and potassium and magnesium. Is actually magnesium sulfate, is Epsom salt, and also contains iodine. And those are together, we call that like a mineral salt in Sweden. So actually it is a perfect electrolyte to eat if you complete it with real magnesium glycinate and also with sea salt, real sea salt. And we have a brand that calls Ultrakram in Sweden. It's actually a Norwegian brand, but they are taken from the same spot as Celtic sea salt, and it's damn cheap. So if you can get your hands on Ultrakram salts, buy it, because it's around 1/5 of Celtic sea salt, and it's a real sea salt from the coast of Spain, I think, or Portugal. And I eat 40 grams when I'm fasting, and I eat around 40 grams every day because my electrolyte was totally going whack up and down when I start fasting, and even before, because I had a doctor, I go to healthcare 20 years ago, and I had a little overweight when I was there, and they told me, "Oh, you should reduce your salt intake." Of course, I reduced my salt intake, but when I look back, I was never a salt eater before. I never occasionally use salt. So when the doctor told me to reduce my salt intake, it got to zero almost. I didn't add salt to my food, never ever before. And even when I started the carnivore journey in 2019, I didn't add any salt. And I had problems, drop weight, and I find a little hint about this. I go training a lot before. 2019 I did training, and also 2020 I did training with Carnivore. I think training is really important when you want to lose weight, and but it didn't turn out to be that good that I believed, because when you're real heavy, it's very stressful for your body. And today I know you need a lot of electrolytes, not water. You need electrolytes. Uh, and I didn't eat that when I started carnivore journey. And I think it was 2022 before I started fasting. Uh, I had real problem when I go to the gym. Every time I took something heavy in my hands, it come like electric sparks. All my body just hopping, jumping around. Almost fall off the treadmill. And I go to the doctor, and they didn't understand what the problem was. And I have a friend that says, "Have you checked up your salt intake?" And he also doing carnivore-ish style. I think it go meat based today, but he was carnivore, but going over to more pro-human diet today. I believe it. He do that. But anyway, he told me to buy a book that called The Salt Fix. And that was my biggest eye opener, because I realized now the deal was that I was eating too little salt. And too little salt it caused your system, your sympathetic nerve system to, tell the kidneys to absorb more salt back. Because if you don't add it and you are fat, you will get deficiency in sodium. And it releases insulin, because insulin will make your blood pressure go up. So you will get a pathologic raise in your insulin levels. And this is done just to make the kidneys to reabsorb more sodium. And if you don't add this electrolytes in the proper amount, your blood pressure will go up and your insulin will go up. And when you have a little bit more insulin than you need, you will not burn fat. That's a simple equation. And there is also one more thing to have your thought on, and that is when you are real big as a human, you're fat, obese, as I was, it's stressful to go to the gym. And the stress is inducing cortisol. And cortisol is also triggering your insulin. So you have the insulin going up because of the cortisol, and you also have the insulin going up because you don't eat enough salt. And the fat, there you are, you're more obese you are, the more you sweat, the more salts you need. And if you look, I talked to a Swedish doctor that works in my hospital where I live. She is the highest one, and she told me, hey man, your weight is over 440 pounds. And you can't eat salt like a normal people. If you look at the healthcare system in Sweden, and I think it's the same, I call it NIH in United States, but we have that in Sweden also. And they recommend people not to eat more than 5 or 6 grams of salt, like a 1.5 teaspoon. But the problem is that amount of salt, it's made for a 50 kilo. It's about 125, 130 pounds people, like a small child or a small woman. But if you're eating that as a fat man, big or woman, you will not get enough electrolytes. Even if you eat the normal food, it will get deficiency. And I did that for 20 years. I never eat salt in my food, never ever add salts. And I started gaining weight 20 years ago when I did, because I wanted to drop weight, but then it was just around 50 pounds to drop. And I started eating less salt, not add salt. And I had also the other problems with food allergy. I have a very weird allergy. I can't ever eat veggies except if I want to. I can eat raspberries if I want. And I can also eat, let's see, what is it? Raspberries and cloudberries. They are natural. I can eat those. It's something that don't make me sick if I want to. Also, I can eat avocado. And but all that, if you check all the grains and everything, I have a very weird allergy because it's the lectins. So if I eat something from a grain, if I ever do that, I will get sick 3 days. I just get like symptom of the flu. I just totally crash. 5 minutes. If I eat anything with grains, doesn't matter what grains it is, I will get sick. And I will get terrible sick in just 5 minutes. Bang. And I get, like a cold, a flu, and I just totally crash. And I did that 1 year ago just to test, see if something happened, because I live clean normally, and I just turn and get real sick. And I had to clean out totally, and I did test it for allergy, and I have really high antibodies for lectins. So everything that contains a high amount of lectins is totally, I can't ever, ever, ever again eat that without getting sick again. The weird thing that my allergy, pollen allergy, is disappear after over 40 years. I don't use any medication. Last year, no medication. So that's a real funny stuff, live old, yeah, almost 50 years soon. I get 49, and I live with allergies since I was 4 years old, I think. They really, discover allergies and eczema, and I have atopic eczema and everything. It's all gone. It was the grains, it was the lectins. So if I stay away from that, I never get sick. It's 25 months since I last time had a cold. I not even totally clean. I never get sick. It's weird. I've been sick all my life. Cold, and I had the flus. I have the COVID, everything. Now, nothing will get me. So it's 25 months now, totally healthy, no sickness, not even a cold. Let's see if I have any more questions here. Have done number long water. I have done and a very hard time. No wonder I was not taking later on. Exactly. But as it looks now, I have a check, the world record in fasting. It was a man that did fasting for 382 days. But when I checked this up, that man was not fasting in real term, because he ate 1 teaspoon of sugar every day because the doctor gave him that. Also, he eating vitamins and everything. But if I look back the last 50 months, from 1st October 2022 today, I have done 9,180 hours of fasting. And people say, what? Yes, how did you do that? I did a fasting. I did a 7 days fast or up to 8.5 day fast. Then I did go do an alternate day fasting for next week, and I go back to 7 days fast. So if you look from the 1st October 2022 to the day, I have done over 9,000 hours fasting. That is 612 hours fasting every month, together with Carnivore. And if you check the blood works, because I've done some blood works, the healthcare, and I lived 20 years with inflammation in the body. It was real high, around 12 to 20 on the CRP. And today, 0.9, no inflammation. It's totally gone. So I read that the fasting has helped me to get away from the inflammation. And so I believe carnivore is a good thing, but the fasting should be a part of it, because it's helped the body to clean out the shit. And I will go back now to talk about why I believe it's sort of a problem with the obesity. When you get obese, it's not because you're eating too much food. It's totally wrong. If you check out the body, how the body works, we don't burn calorie, because human is not a bomb calorie meter. That's totally wrong to say that we talk about calories, because it's not humans are nothing about calories. Our body doesn't go on calories. We can't burn calories. We are creating with our mitochondria, we are creating ATP. It has nothing to do with calories. And but before I did calorie restriction, and I eat totally wrong food for me, and that food make me sick. I believe the most people that are real obese actually have allergy not allergy, because they shouldn't eat grains. They shouldn't eat veggie oil, seed oil, because that destroyed the mitochondria. I tried to get Benjamin Beckman to check up if the seed oil affecting the mitochondria in a bad way, because if you look at the fat from an animal, if you eat the fat from an animal, fresh, I eat fresh fat. I eat raw ribeye with the fat, and it's very tasteful actually. old man. Um, if you check up the mitochondria, how it works, it's actually not a calorie problem. It's nutrient deficiency that causes obesity. Because if eating the wrong food for you, you will actually create nutrition deficiency. And your brain is smarter than you are because your system wants you to eat nutrition. Every living animal on earth wants to eat to fill up with nutrition. Even if you want to eat that sugary stuff, it doesn't matter. Your brain wants nutrition. And if you don't eat the right food for you, I don't say carnivore is the best thing. Maybe not for you. Everyone need to eat what makes them happy and healthy. If you get sick from your food, then you're eating the wrong food for you. Maybe your life is not carnivore. Maybe you want to eat primal diet. It's more like raw. I eat raw, so I eat carnivore-ish primal diet today, more raw. And if you look at how it works with the mitochondria and your nutrition deficiency, is that when you eat the wrong stuff, you get the energy to make fat, but you doesn't take up the nutrition, because most of the shit obese people eat is making you not taking up the nutrition. Because if you're eating grains, you have phytate, you have lectins. The phytate is stopping you from taking up magnesium. And most people in the world have magnesium deficiency. And magnesium deficiency will also make you get higher blood pressure. And also you have other stuff you will not take up, all the a lot of minerals is being affected of the phytates and the lectins. I turn over to eating raw 92 to 98%. I think it was June 2033, 8 months ago. Even my son eats raw now. He's turning 14 years old. Even him eating 95% raw. And why did I do this? Yes, I had problem with my stomach, and the colon. I get blood coming out, fresh blood, and it was not a problem with, you can not see it from outside. It's dripping out from the colon. And I discovered that my son has the same problem. And the doctors didn't want to check up what it was. I believe it's maybe ulcerative colitis. I don't know. I always have problem with my gut and IBS syndrome and irritable bowel syndrome. But I didn't know if I had a more severe sickness. But when I turn off to eating raw meat and raw fat, it disappears. I have never had blood in my stool the last 6 months. It disappeared in a couple of weeks. I had to use pills, up in the butt just to stop the bleeding. So I believe it maybe it can be a sickness, like ulcerative colitis or other gut syndrome. No, I never get sick from raw food. It doesn't happen. I eat cooked lamb, 3.5 weeks ago. I have in the freezer. I did for my daughter. She likes lamb, but I heat it up because I want her to eat it. So I heat it up because it was cooked very low temp, in sauce vide. I have make to get the meat very soft for her, and tasteful. But probably it got some bacteria in that, and she didn't want to eat it. She didn't like it. So I say, okay, my son and I will eat it. We mostly eat raw. But both me and my son, we get sick from that lamb. And so we go over and eating raw again, it not getting sick. So From the raw meat and fat, I never get sick any day. I never have problem. Just cook it can be problem. I eat anything raw. I have not tried chicken yet, but I eat pork, I eat lamb raw, I eat all wild animals. We have those in Sweden. We have moose, we have reindeer, and we also have no, most animals that the United States have. Not all of them, but we have all the wild games, and I eat them also raw. So the only thing I not have tried yet is chicken, because the industry for chicken in Europe is the same shit as everywhere else. And if you want the real, pasteurized, grown up chickens, that live normal, that's pretty expensive meat. Therefore, I will instead buy Swedish beef instead. And I don't say we have the best meat in the world, for the taste, but we have one of the best rules, the laws in Sweden controls you. Our animal has to be outside for minimum 9 months per year. And we have most cows that grow up in Sweden eat grass, almost only grass. So, and we doesn't have a lot of, the animals don't get antibiotics. We have lowest use of antibiotics in the world in Sweden. So our beef are, the cleanest meat you can eat almost. It's just, I think the Ireland and Sweden are almost the same. But the meat is very, very good here. So I buy Swedish meat mostly. Sometimes I buy fancy stuff, from Australia and Japan, Kobe beef, Wagyu. I tasted that. Fun sometimes. It tastes almost only fat, and I love fat. But the raw stuff is never making me sick. So it's making my gut work for the first time in years. So I have never, except from that cooked lamb we ate 3.5 weeks ago, I have never had problems with the gut, even not my son. So we never get ill by eating the raw stuff. I don't do grinded beef. I want to eat something I can chew on. So I eat every cut. I buy, slaughtered beef. It's not very common to eat that in Sweden, but they are more tasteful than sirloin, I think. But I eat any cut that is, that I can get my hands on that are, cheaper. It doesn't care. Just must be a lot of fat. If I don't eat a lot of fat from beef, I add fat. I buy fat, tallow, and also I buy pork fat. So I eat pure fat from both animal. I like the pork fat; is very very tasteful, but also the tallow is very nice to eat. The organ meats, I can, when I do a long fasting, I have done a lot of fasting. After around a half year of real, intense fasting, 612 hours per month, that's a lot. Suddenly I feel, after breaking my fast, I say, I want a liver. So I go buy a liver. I'd never liked liver before, and I started eating liver. And after that, I was, satisfied with that. Even today, I eat liver. So it happens. But if you look at this, if you eat eggs, it has almost the same amount of vitamin A. So you can get all the things you need from the eggs. So if you tolerate eggs, you can eat eggs instead of liver. So you do not need to eat liver if you don't want to. But I like liver also. I eat hearts, lamb hearts, even raw, doesn't matter. Lamb hearts is very good. Eggs raw. No, the egg whites I do not like that. And also when I checked all the nutrition facts about the whites, it's not that healthy for you. The yolk I can eat raw, no problem, but the egg whites, I don't like it. I don't seem to digest that very good either. So I prefer eating the eggs sunny side up, so the yolk is raw. Just very low temp, just to get the egg white to coagulate and get stiff. The egg yolk I will eat raw, no problem. But if you check the meat, the pork, I don't. In Sweden, the pork is very good here, so we don't have any sickness in the pork if you buy Swedish. So they are very yummy. I have tried eating pork hearts, very cheap in Sweden. You can buy them for around, I can find them in a store in my city for, I think it's $3 for 1 kilo. But the lamb hearts is more yummy. I do my own biltong, so that is cured in a way because you salt it and use vinegar, and I use that and I make a biltong out of lamb hearts, and it's very tasteful. And I use that just to get if I want to have something with me and just have to eat something. Potatisgratäng, no potato. I'm allergic to potato. It's lectins in potato. So maybe I can eat something 1 time, 2 times per year, small bites, but I will get flare up in the skin and I get joint pain. Now I have arthritis since I was 13 years old, and pain in all the joints and everything. It's gone. It's not worth it. I didn't realize it was the food that was the problem. If I talked to Janne there. So the food is, I think most people maybe can get healthy by, start eliminating a lot of shit in your diet and just get cleaner and cleaner. And that's what I did last year, take away all the stuff and just eating raw meat and raw fat. And I feel better. And now, since New Year, I probably be eating 98% raw, and I'm feeling wonderful. The only problem I can say about raw meat is that you get satiety that is weird. If I eat 1 pound of beef, if I ever get that much meat in me, I will not be able to eat the day after. So it's sort of, calorie restriction. Yeah, it's sort of, I try to eat the fat instead to get so I can get energy from it. But it's the biggest problem I have today is to eat enough meat and fat. Because when you're eating raw, the satiety is getting quicker. And I have found out that the raw meat and raw fat takes a little more time to digest. I can answer that very quick. I started in 2019 in middle of September, and I started eating sort of ketovore because I eat veggie before, and I was unemployment, and I started eating keto vor, and after 4 months I have empty all my freezers and everything. So I started to eating more and more, and I did OMAD and OMAD, and I incorporate more and more better meat. And I think it was first expensive because I need to buy that meat. That's expensive because I didn't have work, so it was not easy for me to understand that there is other ways to eat very good food. Buying good cuts of meat and everything. But it sorted out itself 1.5 years ago when I realized that I can do fasting. And when you don't eat at all, you don't spend any money. So when you eat, you can spend more money. And but I started 2019, and the first 3 years actually was to heal the body with the right food, because I did a real stupid thing 2016. I starting drinking. You know, it was like powder. You make some shakes on it. I do not know if you have that in the United States. It was like Nutrilett, but it's a different brand. And I live on calories, 1,000 calories per day for 2017, 2018, 2019, 2.5, 3 years on just that idiotic powders. And I dropped weight, of course, I dropped weight. But suddenly I stopped drop weight. I start gaining weight, still eating 1,000 calories. And then I get sick and I start to regain weight again. So my heaviest weight was 637 pounds, 2016 in, actually it was still the same weight. So the 3rd January 2017, I was 637 pounds. That's a lot of overweight. Uh, Not only fat, of course, because I still move, I still walk around, you know, try to move and everything, but it was very problematic to get into our small cars in Sweden. So still have the car left. I had 2018, and I had to change some, you know, when you walk in, you know, and the ceiling around the door was totally trashed because I just pushed myself in, and, you know, it was not enough space for a fat man. But yeah, I can go in. So how long have we been eating? 8 months for eating raw, and together with my 14 years old. My son was 13 years old, so me and him start eating raw in June last year. So soon 8 months. But anyway, with the calorie restriction shit powder I eat, it was destroying my mitochondria. To live on that low, calories is not good for you. And you can check up that there is a Biggest Loser study done. I think of the first group they made. I think it's from 2015 or something. That study. I think even Jason Fung has shared it. I also shared that study. It shows that they drop 1,000 calories in energy expense, and when the mitochondria slow down, the metabolism slow down when they have eating less calories, and your system will attach to the new calories, so you will not drop weight after a couple of months doing calories restriction. Excuse my bad English sometimes. But anyway, that's the problem with calorie restriction. It doesn't work. I have done that almost 30 years trying out that. Today, I try to eat as much as I can when I eat. And now I do this month just alternate day fasting. So I fasting around 36 to 40 hours, then I eat food 2 times, go back to 40 hours fast, because I can't eat every day, because my stomach is, because the raw meat and the raw fat, it takes some time to digest it, and that makes the IBS totally disappear, because the gut is holding on the food. It just makes it impossible to just stuff more shit in food, and it takes time. But the funny thing is that when it comes up as number 2, it looked like perfect 10 of 10 today. Never constipated, never diarrhea, nothing. It's just perfect. It doesn't smell, zero smell. The funny thing is, when you eat raw, you can fluctuate. You can actually make noises with number 2. Is most carnivore doesn't, they say. But if you eat the raw stuff, the enzymes in the meat, it's still, functional. So it will help your bacteria in your gut to digest the meat, in small intestines and also in the colon. So the enzymes in raw actually helps you to digest this the same way as when you didn't eat the corn, when you eat a lot of fibers that are good for you. But it's not good for you. But the enzymes doing the same thing. So you will get better microbes in the gut, and you can fluctuate a little bit more than if you compare to eating cooked meat. So the thing is that with the raw meat and the raw fat is making me. I feel like I get more energy now out of it. If it doesn't, I get more nutrition because I checked this up. You can actually cook food. If you cook meat, if you cook beef, around 75% of the B9, the folate in the beef, will disappear with the cooking. A lot of the nutrition, B vitamins, will get destroyed or evaporate with the moist from the meat. It's not a bad thing always, but it will get lower. And you have one problem with carnivore is the B1 vitamin. And if you don't eat pork, you have problems. Because thiamine, the B1 vitamin, is very important for your mitochondria. If you get deficiency in B1, you can die. And beef have very little thiamine or B1 vitamin. You need to eat cooked meat. If you only live on beef, you should eat around 4 pounds of meat every day to get daily intake. But if you eat pork and you eat just 100 grams in Swedish measurement, but 120 grams of lean pork will get all the thiamine or slash B1 vitamin that you need to stay in, fill up the system. And if you don't do pork, you need to eat around 8 eggs per day, because 8 eggs will be around also the same amount of B1 vitamin. But if you don't eat eggs, you don't eat pork, and you just live on red meat, your B1 level can go down too much, and your mitochondria will slow down. And that's the thing with also same if you drink a lot of alcohol, if you're having eat disorder like anorexia, they have also problem with B1 vitamin. So if you're living on carnivore, I believe you should eat pork. Don't need to eat a lot, but around 120 grams. It could be in the form of charcuterie, like Italian specialty. You can buy prosciutto, or if you don't want to eat raw pork, you do not have to eat raw. Pork will still have a thiamine B1 vitamin even if it's cooked. So I believe as a carnivore you should eat also pork in some way. If you have a real meaty bacon, it's okay to eat 100 grams that. Then you will get all the thiamine B/B1 vitamins, and that's essential for your mitochondria to work. And if you don't get that B1 vitamins, your mitochondria will slow down, and you can actually die if you stop eating it totally. So pork has the most amount of B1 vitamin per grams than any other cuts from any other animal. So it's very cheap to buy 120 grams of pork in any form just to fill up your thiamine levels. Let's see if it's some questions. Some people come in. So this is my first time in doing English. So I have a lot of email coming to my account that say, hey man, you can do this in English instead. And I say, okay. But go back to my journey. So the fasting was a real game changer for me. Absolutely. I believe that you can eat anything you want from the animal kingdom, like dairy, like cheese and everything. It's a problem if you want to drop weight to eat cheese, of course. But as long as you do some alternate day fasting, the cheese will not get as a problem for you. It's just that you need to get your insulin down. And when I checked my insulin first time in my life, in Sweden we just do C-peptide. We don't doesn't measure insulin in Sweden, so C-peptide is a better way to get your insulin levels checked. And when I checked the Common Sense Lab from Candy Berry, I got that paper 2022, and it's him recommend that you have in Swedish measurements maximum 0.52, and I had after 3 years of carnivore 0.72, and if you look that up and check it up, it was too much to drop weight. So I have an insulin resistant even after 3 years on the carnivore, and it because I have been fat for so long. Also, I grew up on eating just seed oil products. My dad was not rich, and in Sweden, as many other countries, seed oil products like margarine and everything we have made of seed oils in Sweden are damn cheap today too. And that was my dad buy, and I grew up eating that. And of course, what I know today about seed oils and what it doing with your fat cells, that will also explain the insulin, this lower rate of insulin resistance that I have put on my body since I was around 12, 13 years old. So it will take time to get down that. So I started fasting 15 months ago. And when I did my new measurement on my C-peptide, it was 5 days ago. I got the measurement 2 days ago, and my C-peptide was down to 0.46. And that explains why I dropped weight, because the insulin is getting very low. And if you looked at in American measurements on my A1C, I believe it's down to 4.8%. It's going up a little bit actually, but that's normal on carnivore. But it's low. It's not insulin resistant anymore. See if I have any other questions. There's some people coming in here. Checking up. Yeah, but anyway, so the journey starting 4.5 years ago, and it was a transition time, what do you call it, adapting time. And what I know today, that if you are living now, you're eating standard American diet or standard Swedish diet, it depends on what country you live in. It's not that easy to change the diet and believe that it was just working. You have to have a mindset. You have to believe in yourself. You have to have the mindset, and you have just said, now it's enough. It's enough. Okay, maybe it will work then. But I believe that you should change the diet a bit slower, because if you're doing that slowly, you're making it natural. And also you have a mitochondrial problem. If you change, you just stop eating something and something, and that is that your mitochondria will not understand what you're doing. And the mitochondria is not yours. You have get them from your mother, and from your mother, grandmother. It's genome living inside you. It's not a part of your body. Your mitochondria is like your pet inside you. And they change, and and they will increase when you're fasting. They will regrow, and they will adjust to the new food, and that takes around 16 weeks. So 8 weeks to change about 50%, and 16 weeks to change 100%. And that's the time you will get your problem with the number two. Everyone that go for the carnivore from standard American diet or, standard Swedish, almost the same diet today. Standard American diet is almost a Sweden standard diet today. We are 20 years after United States when it comes to the food. So we are getting your food to Sweden last 10, 15 years. So it's not that much different anymore. And we get people getting more severe obese in Sweden too. So it's not much different from United States. I know people are very obese there, but we are also getting them here. So it shows that it's the food that's the problem, or food, depends what you call food. Yeah, it's poor for us because we're getting all the, we have more strictly regulation when it comes to what food can contain. You cannot add a lot of chemicals to the food like you can do if you check up the McDonald's and you check up the French fries they make. I know they use a lot of stuff in United States, but in the EU and in Sweden we have laws so that in Sweden they can't add that shit. So if you compare that, there are a lot of difference when we come to other stuff that are not carnivore, like the processed food has less added shit to it. So it's better in Sweden if you compare to United States when you additive to all the processed food. I don't want to call it food, processed shit, I said. Um, so we have less of those, and but it's we are getting there. It's getting slower to United States food system, whatever you call it. We have the same stuff coming in here. But go back to check my journey. If someone wants to hear about it, it started out there. I started to listen to the Carnivore Nordic, and I find the Candy Berry and start to listen to him because he feels like he don't want to earn money on selling products. I know many other influencer, you buy this vitamins and buy this, and I didn't see that from Candy Berry. So I think it was fun to see Candy Berry, and I actually joined his PhD group in October last year, just to get other people that are more into pro-human diet. So I am one of Candy Berry's pro-human diet troops. You want the link to Candy Berry? Yeah, of course I can put up after I ended this live show. But most people that are looking at this has probably find me through Candy Berry because he has talked about my journey a little bit on the live show last week, I think it was, or 2 weeks ago. And I'm back to work. I haven't worked. If you check this, 10 years was the last time I have work that I could work with and had, not getting sick. I got into work 2018 for 15 months and I got sick. So if you check the last 10 years, I have worked 1.5 years and I've been sick all the rest of the time because of severe obesity. And I'm back now, 3 weeks. I have worked my new employment and no problem. I feel like I'm 15 years old again, not 48. And never late, wake up early, going to work full days, never hurt anywhere, nothing. I'm totally back in life, better in shape than I was when I was 15. And when I was 15, I was not obese. I was normal, but I was sick then. and also depression. I didn't say that I have chronic depression for 30 years, and when I totally take away all the grains and all the veggies, the depression disappear. So bad stuff didn't bother me anymore. I don't. I'm not the bottom people. I'm happy and going to work with a smile and never feeling bad. Before I had depression every time it was dark because I live in Sweden, and here is the winter is long here. It's same as we are the same altitude as Canada. So if you look at Toronto or North Canada, like the polar, we have the same climate here. So where I live, there is around Christmas we have maybe 2.5 hours of daylight, and it's dark, and it's it's making you depressed if you don't have all the nutrition. And when I check my blood works now, I have vitamin D was astonished 262 nanomole. That's 100. It's 104 nanograms per milliliter. That's a bit high. If Canterbury recommends 100, that's maximum. And in Sweden we have 107. I think it's 90 or 85 nanograms per milliliter. But anyway, my calcium level is okay, so I don't worry. I believe that vitamin D is coming from the fat I drop, because I drop weight or get smaller every week. So probably my body has a lot of stored vitamin D in the fat that will release every day I drop weight, because I'm have been in ketos for constant over 2 years. I never drop out ketosis. So never, not that high every time maybe, but I never out of ketosis. I'm around 0.8 to 2.5 in ketones millimole, and when I do my fasting I go up to 5, 6, up to 7 almost sometimes. So I think it's 6.9 is the millimoles in ketones I had in the fall, and that's a fun experience to have that high. It was not that fun. Best is around the 4.5 millimoles in ketones. Then I feel really, really, really good. Rai Kumar, I'm depressed. Why? How could I help you? I'm not a doctor. I can just say you need to eat a proper human diet. Okay, link to the Nordic group. Yes, of course, I will post it. I can maybe do it when I check it because we have a computer in front of me. So I can post the link, and also when you check that, you maybe see me also there. And you can check all my journey because I have a lot of photographs also there, and update a lot of there. Let's see here. I can check up the links. Carnivore Nordics. There you got the group. So everyone is welcome there. You just have to speak Swedish. We have people from all the world there. But we are a very kind group. It's not that, people are not that hard. You also have Carnivore World Carnivore Tribe, and some people there are, oh, you don't eat that, you're not carnivore. It doesn't work like that. People have other issues. Everyone can't change a diet in just 1 week, 2 weeks, 3. You have to be patient. You have to take time. It takes time to adapt to a new lifestyle. Carnivore is not a diet for me. It's a lifestyle. It's you have to change your mindset. For me, it's not an option because I have allergies. So I can't go back to eat that. I don't want to have flare-ups. I don't want to have if I eat tomatoes, I get the skin. I get burning marks on my skin. My teeth, the flesh is, the you have inside your mouth is released. Yeah, I'm mostly vegan except chicken. Chicken is a problem because it's not that much fat. The problem people have today that they are not eating the fat. I put up the link here with my computer to the Carnivore Nordic group. You can take that link and you will come to that group. You can write in English, that's not a problem. Most people understand that. But if you do, I talk to you, Rai Kumar. The problem with, people can eat what they want. It's not my work to change your point of view what you should eat. You should understand that if you don't feeling good of what you're eating today, you need to change that. I didn't realize that for my own. We people are pretty stupid. I'm stupid. I believe that shit are, healthcare telling me. And today I actually better educated than the doctors that I gone through before. I asked my doctor, do you know what Randall cycle is? And they don't have a clue, most of them. And I asked them what circadian cycle is, and most doctors doesn't have a clue about it. So something I didn't mention because this live show is not about one. Maybe later I will do like have a talk about one thing or two thing, or what you want me to take up as next question answer. What you want to know. This is a not planned at all. All you see now is just live. It's just me. I have not planned anything I talk about. So I want just to, let people know me a little bit, and maybe we can go in and talk about certain area of the diet and what you should think about. And if you are new to this, and if your goal is to lose weight, then I am sort of expert because I dropped 220 pounds in 30 months. 220 pounds in 30 months. That's a lot. And people say, oh, that's not healthy, not good. You can't fast that much. You will drop, your muscle will disappear. No. I'm stronger today, 48-year-old, than I was when I was training a lot. I was a heavy weightlifter in 1993 to 1999. I was a very strong man. I actually trained for strongman in Sweden. So I have a really big muscles then. And I think I will never get that back. But I actually am stronger today. Not that big muscle, but I'm stronger in many, many moments. I can do an lateral pull downs. I did that. I have a video actually on TikTok. Let's see how much it was. I think it was 130 kilos. It's over 270 pounds in pull downs, lateral pull downs. All the weight you can put up on that, I put on. And 20 years ago, I didn't do that much. So I'm actually stronger in muscles today than I was 20 years ago. So the fasting is not eating up your muscle. That's just rumors. It needs to stop talking shit about people doing fasting, because fasting has been a part of human diet. Yes, diet. Fasting is a diet. Fasting is something our ancestors did. Didn't plan for it because they didn't have the freezer. They didn't have the fridge. They need to eat when they could eat, and they didn't have luck, hunting down a moose or whatever they eat. They couldn't do that every day. Not every day they have good luck with hunting. And sort of they got fasted, and they hunt in fasted because when they need meat, they maybe didn't have anything. So they hunted as a faster state. And that's not a problem. That's very good for you. So how do you cook lamb? I cut it up and I eat it because I eat it raw. Otherwise, if my daughter she's 10 years old, she's not eating carnivore. My son is eating carnivore primal. So I have a good t-shirt. I've done this myself. So it's I like lamb meat, it says in Sweden. Because it's good. But when I eat lamb, I eat it raw. I try to avoid eating cooked food because I feel better on raw. I don't say everyone should eat raw because I don't know how your meat is cut up and slaughtered, because it's all depend on how clean it is, how the work is doing the slaughtering. If it's not 100% clean, the meat can get contaminated, and it's not a thing. I don't care eating pork. Of course you can get sick if you have trichines and all other stuff. But in Sweden our meat is controlled. We have a very hard regulation on how slaughter our animals. So very rarely you get sick from eating meat in Sweden. Doesn't matter if chicken, pork, lamb, or whatever it is. They are mostly to 99.9% clean, and they have to do it as the government tells them to do, all the controls and everything. But if you have a trustful slaughter, and your meat is handled good, it doesn't matter. You can, it means, yeah, of course, it has two sentences. But see, this is a lamb. So actually, this is a fun thing about that. This has two sentences, of course. But I like lamb meat. So I eat lamb hearts. And I eat them both raw, and I do biltong on them, of them too. So I actually like lamb. Lamb heart is the best thing on the lamb. So if you get your hands on lamb hearts, they are cheap, and they doesn't taste hard. It tastes more like beef, actually. So then you can cut them up in thin slices and eat them. They are very good, and heart is very rich on minerals. So you get a lot of magnesium from hearts. No, it's all about if you can trust your slaughterhouse. Doesn't matter if it's fresh or frozen. Fresh is nicer to eat, has more enzymes. It makes you feel better. Frozen, you kill some. Fresh, the fresher the meat are, the better it tastes for me. Uh, Also, if meat can, in the freezer, they taste a bit different. But it's not a problem to eat frozen meat, but the enzyme is not as active as the raw, fresh meat. But most meat are in sort of almost freeze when they handle out in the stores. It shock freezing, so they have a bit, very cold outer. If they go to the shop, and where I buy the meat, they actually cut it up in the store and pack it. So they got big cuts and from the slaughterhouse, and they just trim it so you can get your cuts. But if you can trust your slaughterhouse and everything, so you can without problem eating raw. But there is studies, how the gut works. People are worried about eating raw. But if you are eating carnivore-ish today, clean, and don't mix in vegetable, eat clean carnivore, and you have a stomach or the gut working as it should, and you have the proper amount of sodium chloride in your body, so you can make bile, and you have the stomach working, the gut working, and you have the bile production working as it should. Your stomach acid or gut acid when you're eating is a pH around 1.5 to 2.0. Most have around that when they have a gut working. And EHEC and Salmonella dies if the pH in the gut goes under 2.0. So a carnivore eating raw meat will have a pH around 1.5. So Salmonella and EHEC will not survive in your gut. That's why you normally don't get sick eating raw, as long as you don't mix in veggies. That's absolutely no, no, no. And don't drink water, maybe sip. And use salt. You can salt your meat, not a problem. But do not eat veggies, and absolutely don't use anything that contains sugar. Like sauce, if you use any not clean carnivore, that's a problem, because if you eat sugar, your pH in your gut will go up. And if it goes up over 2 and you eat in raw, then if they are containing any sort of bacteria like Salmonella and EHEC, it can grow in your gut and you will get sick. But every people has Salmonella, they ever have EHEC living in your system, and your body is controlling them and fighting them, and they are always small amounts living in you. The problem is when the pH go up and you get a lot of those in you, then you will get sick, because it's got an overload, and it's all about the pH in your gut. So as long as you're eating clean carnivore and you're eating raw and not mixing other stuff, your gut pH will stay in a safe area, killing all the germs that will make you sick. The problem is when you're mixing in other stuff that are not carnivore, your pH will go up, and bang, suddenly they can start growing in your gut, and you've got problem. Absolutely, they can, but I don't recommend people eating raw if you don't trust their sources. You have to have control your slaughterhouse that you can eat that meat, and if you live in a country that the control is not that good, and you don't know the butchers, then you can be a problem if you don't have a gut working as it should. But if you look at Sweden, if you look at 98% of all germs, people get sick. You've got Salmonella or EHEC in Sweden. 98% of them comes from veggies, and most of the veggies that are contaminated with manure. And that's the static in Sweden. You can check it up if you want. 98%. 2% they don't know, but they blame the meat. But mostly all that comes from veggies that have used manure and put manure to get them to grow, because we normally use that. But if salmonella is in the manure, and and you put it on the veggies and you don't clean the veggies, you will get sick. And that's how it looks in Sweden. Mostly 98% of all people getting salmonella or EHEC get it from the veggies. That is pure static in Sweden. I have checked it up. But your gut system is the only scavengers that are having lower pH than humans. So humans, if you look up history and you check up how human lives thousands years back, before we got modern people, we were scavengers. We eating the bone marrow, brains from dead animals that was killed by like a tiger took an antelope, and tiger eat everything, and the hyenas, everything, other animal that eating that. And what was left was the bone marrow and the brain, because they can't get it by eating, the and the humans was there and knock it up because using stones, and we eat the bone marrow and we eat the brains. That's how we got the nutrition before we was scavengers. We eat the old bone marrow that maybe in the heat in Africa for a couple of days. And we are made for eating that raw. So I don't understand why people are afraid. Of course, I can get sick like everyone else. But still, after 8 months, neither my son or me has been sick eating raw meat. The most problem has been, most problem has been eating cooked meat. I never get sick eating raw meat, but cooked meat, of course, because if you take, you can do this example, you can dry age meat. Everyone knows that you can dry age it. You can also wet age it. But dry age is taking your meat cut, put it on in the freezer, in the fridge, call it in English, on the rack, so you get air going up. You can dry it. And when you want to eat, you can cut away all the black parts and you get fresh meat again. It's not a problem. It's not getting dangerous to eat that. But if you cook that meat and put it in the fridge, in 1 week, 1.5 week, 2 weeks, it will get foam blown with, mold, and it will stop to stink. But as long as it doesn't cook the meat, it will just dry out, and it's the enzymes in the meat is just shrinking, all the moisture going out, and it gets harder. You have to cut a bigger part away to eat the fresh inside. So cooking meat is actually destroying the meat, and it will not last that long. I have meat cut, last year. It has fallen down behind the box in the fridge, and it was 1 month old from the best before date, and I opened it up and it tastes normal. It was 1 month it has been in the fridge. It was not a problem, just eat it. Why you don't have to kill it, because your gut kill it. If you don't blend it in with sugar or vegetable when you eat raw meat, your gut will have a pH around 1.5 to 2.0, and you can check it up. EHEC and Salmonella dies under 2.0 in stomach acid. So it will not survive in a carnivore human that eating pure carnivore, raw carnivore. You can check out Jordan Peterson's daughter and Jordan Peterson himself both eat raw meat. Have you ever heard of them being sick from eating that? And they live, I think, in Canada. I think it's Canada they live. But they eat raw. I think it's 5-6 years for Jordan Peterson. And they never get sick. And I have a friend live in Sweden, eating raw pork hearts and pork fat. He has never been sick eating that raw. He even eats chicken raw, and not the good way chicken. He eat the cheap brand. Never problem for him. If I am a scientist, no, of course not. I have could be if I want to, but I have read a lot of books. And I listen to a lot of people. They are known, scientists. Benjamin Bickman, maybe not advocate any raw, but the raw stuff, it's something I have. If you check, you can't see Swedish television, but we have a program in Sweden called Science Program. It's it's state TV in Sweden. We have state-controlled TV also still. In function, and they have like this program, and they have a science program about how people eat way before today's food, and they talk about raw meat and how people eat raw meat, and that was not a problem. they had was the digestion and had taken up the nutrition, they said. And when we started cooking food, we get better, digestion of the meat. Of course, it gets quicker. If you cook a food, you will digest the meat quicker because you have, destroy the meat by cooking it. So you destroy the enzymes and you're breaking down the proteins, all the bindings. And when you get that in the stomach, you will, take it up pretty quick and you go down and it will go down quicker. But if you eat in raw, your stomach acid needs to blend it out. It needs to digest it and make this white soup that it makes. It goes in with acidic and just turn it into a white soup. And it takes time. For raw meat, it can take around 8 to 18 hours to digest raw meat. It depends how big stuff you eat. If you're eating grinded meat, it will get digest quicker because all it's about how you chew it and how much you chew it. If you eat bigger cuts, it will take up to 12, maybe up to 18 hours before your stomach is totally empty. So that's why I can't eat every day because I get so full in the gut. So it's impossible for me to eat every day. In Norway, if you give raw meat to your children, you're gonna take your children from you. Or maybe they want to do that in Sweden too, because I have a healthcare in, we have a school sister, it calls in Sweden. So they have, almost, connected with the government in, local government in my city. And they was worried about his diet, but I use my acknowledge and I just talked to that woman for around 30 minutes, explained all the nutrition facts and how the body works, and she backed it off. And now I think in 1 month they will have a follow-up meeting and check my son if he's feel good. And if you check this channel, you will see a video on my son I put together with photographs. You can check how he looks 2 years ago and how he looks today. And it's a big difference. And for my son, he has the same problem with the gut as I have. So he has never in his 14 years life feel so good as he do now, because he has a problem with the gut since he was 1 year old. He couldn't eat grains without getting gases and pain. So when we totally erased that from his diet, he stopped has fluctuation and gases and never get any blood in the stool either. So my son's health is coming before any government in Sweden. He is 14 years old, so he has grown up and he has big enough to stand for himself instead of I eat what I want. But he does not eat the school food. He eat at home, and my son also eat when he comes home 2 meals per day, nothing more. Mr. No, you write a lot of different stuff I don't understand. If I like lammkött, yes, you can read here. Fun to see yourself in the video on the YouTube. Anyway, if you look at this, so I will probably never ever go back to eating cooked food again, because it's not that yummy as you maybe believe. When you are adapting to raw carnivore, your taste is changes a lot. So no, I will not go back to eating. But this was not supposed to be about eating raw or not eating raw. It's more like talking about my journey actually. But if you have questions about the carnivore diet, you you can ask anything you want. Yeah, I can speak Swedish because I am Swedish. But this channel was, yeah, because I talk Swedish in on Facebook. I had the live show. I talk Swedish in Facebook when I do live shows on Saturdays around 4 o'clock now. So I do this just to reach out to other people in the world. So English is very good for reaching out to United States because I get followers from United States. So that's why I try to talk English. I don't know if I'm good at it, but I try because Swedish is my normal language I speak. But we in Sweden most people today can talk pretty good English. Uh, but if you go to Carnivore Nordic or Carnivore for Future, if you search Carnivore Future on Facebook, you will find my page. Facebook doesn't allow me to have that name. In Swedish, I have Meat Geek Sweden. But if you search for Carnivore Future, you will anyway find me because I made that possible to search. Also, you will have that in my channel in YouTube. You will have links to my Facebook page. There you can look at the photographs of me if you want to, or listen to other live show. But then I do Swedish. My home country is Sweden. I live in around 100 kilometers from Stockholm, in a town called Eskilstuna in Södermanland. So I'm Swedish. Yes, and you, Jenny Silverstopper, looks that name looks like a Swedish name. So, but I live in Eskilstuna in Sweden, and I think I am the only one eating carnivore. So I'm Swedish. So, but you have any question? I will not do this because all over 1.5 hours now, so I had to end it for the night. But this is just a test show, live show as a test, just to see if people come in and look. And if you have any question that you want me to take up and you want to have the studies or science behind it, I will show it to you and make a new video live show next Saturday or Sunday. Depends on how it looks with my kids. I have them every second week. So, but everything I talk about is from science. But sometimes, do we really want to believe just in science, or can the science be bought? We have big corporations around the world that actually can pay to get their science. I just want to instead look at how people live before us, 120, 150 years back. Did they have science behind all the things they did? Not really. If you live in hunter-gathering lifestyle, there are still some people doing that around the world. They are healthy. That's the most important thing. If you look at my ancestors, I believe why I don't tolerate veggies or that it depends on my ancestors because I'm not fully Swedish. I am half Swedish. My grandmother is from North Sweden, and there was hunter and gatherings just 100 years ago. They live on hunting wild animals mostly, and also they fish a lot. So they eat like salmon. We have Swedish salmon, so they eat a lot of that, and most wild animals. And if you look at my mother's side, is from the East Europe and more from Ukraine, Poland, and also a country that is not that big. It's over the Black Sea. It's called Karachel-Balkar. I think it's Karachel-Balkar. So I have ancestor line there, and from the Poland and Ukraine side, it's Zaporozhian Cossack. And they was also living on hunting because fishing hunting was normal for Cossacks. So if you're looking back on those lines, both sides of my ancestors, just 100 years back, was hunter and gatherings. So they are not everyone that has that in ancestor line that short of time, and that maybe affect my tolerance to grains and veggie because they didn't eat that a lot of that. Maybe some no, maybe potato sometime, but mostly uh, they hunt and they eating fish. So I eating raw fish also. In Sweden we can do that. We have good controlled fish. So I eat raw fish, any kind actually. So, but fish normally I freeze because it's not bacteria that's the problem. You can get worms. Yeah, my name is Sven. If you look up, you will see that in Facebook also, because you will find me in that link I put in Carnivore Nordic. You will probably find my videos there. So my name is Sven, and I'm 48 years old and turning 49 this year. So if you travel outside Sweden, then how you maintain your carnivore diet? It's not a problem. If I travel to Italy, you will get really good meat there because they have very good controlled meat markets there. So also in Sweden, yeah, yes, Sven is typical Swedish, yes, but not that much because you have that name also in Denmark. You have the name in Norway. You also have that in Iceland, also in Germany. But maybe different spelling and different, but you have that. But my second name, when I was born with, was not that Swedish. Uh, no, Danish, no, not good at Danish, but my ancestors, when I grew up, I taught Polish from the beginning, and I still understand a bit Polish, but I have a Polish surname before. My mother was Kołodziejczak, so I actually half Polish, half Swedish, but half Polish Ukrainian. So not fully Swedish, but I can talk Swedish very good, but not this in this channel. People will not understand it. So I did a short video about that. I will turn this channel to just talk English. It's better for reaching out for all the world because most people understand English. But in Facebook, I do Swedish. So yeah, I have not too much to not more much to say. Oh, that English was not good, but I don't have much more to say about this diet. I will come back another day, and I will do maybe sort of putting up people talk about salmon and EHEC and raw meat. I will do that, and I will put up links how the body works. And I have put those links in Facebook maybe half a year ago. Yeah, Mr. Kung. Yes, I talk pretty good Swedish, I believe. But this was very good for me. This is training for me also. I believe that maybe Candy Berry wants to make a live interview with me when I reach my goal. It's around 60 pounds left to drop before I'm in goal, and then I will have dropped over 400 pounds. That's a lot of weight. Yeah, you talk Swedish too. I understand that. Or are you from Norway, Rai Kumar? I guess you are Norwegian from the if because you talk about the Norwegian have the government's taking kids if you serve them raw meat. But I don't understand why that should be a problem because if you look at Iceland, they eat raw cured meat also, shark. I know. Okay, you're from Sweden. But since as I told 3 weeks ago, this channel will be in English now because I do Swedish on Facebook. Also, I have Instagram and I did English already there. So, but English is way more spread to reach people. So I will do, yeah, Norland. That's good. And I have my ancestors. My father's mother, you call it in Sweden, it calls farmor in Sweden. United States uses granny, but she's come from Strömsund. It's in Jämtland, so it's pretty close to Norway. There I have my one ancestor line coming from Strömsund. So it's they have very cold weather there. So it's not Norland, but it's not far away. So, but if you're from Norland, then you know about eating. Most people that are eating carnivores from the beginning. We have what do you call that in the Same. They have a special in Sweden. We have people living up in North Sweden. They are Same and. They was carnivore from the beginning. They eating more or less meat just 100 years back. So we have natural carnivores living in Sweden way back that just living on meat or fish mostly of the year. LOL. Renkött, yes. Maybe reindeer. I will eat that raw. I don't have eating any more food. It is a bit late for me, but I eat sort of breakfast today around 9 o'clock, and I couldn't eat anymore. So I eat a lot of eggs, but I have a raw reindeer. So we'll try that raw today. It smells very good, so probably tasteful. I will put some photos on my Facebook page about that. We'll see how that tastes. I need to eat, that was something I will take up before I end this live, is that when you're eating, you're not eating calories, you're eating energy that your ATP will turn over to energy. You're eating stuff that needs to be converted with ATP. And if you don't eat enough food and you starve yourself to, because you want to drop weight, you will not drop weight. You maybe do that short, in 1-2 weeks, you can drop a little weight, of course. But if the long run, you will not drop weight. You will down-regulate your metabolism by eating too little, and your mitochondria will slow down. By eating more fat, your mitochondria will go up in speed. So if I should count a good day when I eat around 250-300 grams of animal fat per day. That's sort of, if you look at calories, 2,500 calories, I think, just in fat. And meat cuts and eggs and everything, so I think I eat around today 4,000 and still drop weight. So it's not about calories, it's about what you eat and what your body can turn over to energy and nutrition. But if I should exchange that fat with sugar, I will gain fat. Because the insulin will go up. But the fat cannot induce insulin, but the meat can. So that's why you shouldn't eat too much. Occasionally, you should eat 1 or 2 times per day, not 3, 4, 5. If you're eating little here, little there, and you're eating meat, your insulin will go up. Not that much, but it will raise a bit. And meat has pretty high insulin index. It's not that low that people think. The thing is that the spike will be very soft. It will not go up like this if you eat sugar, but it will still induce insulin. The insulin is fast storage if you're eating too much, so and too often. So you have to have control your proteins intake, and the best thing is to eat proteins between 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock and follow the circadian cycle. And if you follow the circadian cycle, your system will take up more energy, and you will use your energy and make nutrition, ATP better. And when the evening comes normally, therefore I shouldn't eat that, but I have eat too little today, and I don't want to drop my metabolic rate. So, but the best thing is to eat that and, stop eating so you can get your gut to rest. And that's big deal when it comes to dropping weight. So if you want to drop weight, you should eat enough. If you eat too little, if you're a woman, the biggest deal with eating too little is that you will not get the B-vitamin in the proper amount. If you don't have the B-vitamin in the body, you can't make your you have problem with this, and you get thyroid problem. It's not the thyroid that's the problem. The problem is nutrition about it. And women that believe that they can live on 1,400 calories or 1,500 calories, and they use LifeSum app. If I eat that much, I will gain weight. That's stupid. A normal 5-year-old kid eating around 1,800, 1,900 calories per day. And you believe a grown-up woman will survive and thrive on 1,500 calories, then you are stupid. You need a grown-up woman that around 65 kilo needs to eat around 2,600 per day. But if you starve yourself for many, many, many years, your metabolism will go down. It will take years to gain it back again. For me, it take 3 years to get my metabolic rate back, so I can eat that much that I need. Before that, I had nutrition deficiency, and I get fat because when I need to eat that a lot, gaining back all the nutrition I need, I get more calories than I could handle in my ATP, because that metabolism was slowing down because of calorie restriction for over 3 years. It takes time to repair your metabolism. And that's a big deal for women when they get thyroid problems, because they have eating too little and starving and not always, if I eat that, I gain weight. But it's opposite. It seems like I drop out from the live show. No cat or dog. I don't eat that. It's not food for me. I try to stay to ruminant animal, because human normally shouldn't eat other, carnivores, because cats are carnivores, and normally human doesn't eat carnivores, and dogs is sort of a mixed carnivore also. They can eat almost anything, but they are more carnivores than. It's totally safe to eat raw pork, so you don't have to worry about that. It's not a problem to eat raw pork in Sweden. Our meat is clean in Sweden. But if you live in other countries, they don't have that control. That's maybe a problem. So you shouldn't worry about that. It's all the, rumors that come from the 1800s, when they don't have that slaughterhouses. They slaughter pigs in dirty places and everything, and don't control it from 3 kins. Even pigs that live in farmer's house could have 3 kins, and all that germs and everything could be a problem 100 years ago. But today we have so good control of the meat in Sweden, so that's not a problem in Sweden. Now I will end this. This is 2 hours. Is too far, too long time for me to talk. And this was just the first I did in English. And next time I will try to make, question and answers for people asking anything about carnivore diet. That's free. You can ask anything. Also, if you have problem, if you eat carnivore, I I have been this diet in 4.5 years, soon 5 years, and I gone through all the phases that I see people ask questions. I've been there, I've done that. I know the pit holes, I know the things that can happen and why it happens. And therefore, I can answer those questions without, I'm still not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, but I can use myself and my journey as an, reference. And, I know what happens with the body under these 4.5 years, and what happened if you not following and not eating certain stuff. And as I told before in the beginning of this live show, that the biggest problem with carnivore diet I can see today is when people not eating pork or eggs and stay with beef. That's a big problem with the thiamine, the B1 vitamin, and it's not that great amount in beef, not if even beef liver. It's pork has the highest amount than eggs if you look at carnivore stuff. Beef, not that much. If you're eating raw meat, you need to eat 2 kilo or 4 pounds of raw beef to get just 1.1 milligram of thiamine, and that's your daily need you need to have in your diet, while eating just 120 grams of lean pork will give you the same amount. So you can decide for yourself, eating 2 kilos or 4 pounds of beef or 120 grams of raw, doesn't have to be raw pork, it can be cooked pork, but 120 grams of pork, lean pork meat, has the same thiamine as B1, thiamine B1 as 2 kilo raw beef. If you cook the beef, the thiamine B1 will get destroyed a bit, so you need to upper your to around 4 kilo raw beef per day to get thiamine in its proper amount. If you want to just eat meat and not add any supplements, you can solve it with a B complex supplement if you don't want to eat pork or eggs. But just on beef, you will not get enough thiamine, and therefore your metabolism, your ATP, will go down. You can search it for Google. You can check up the anorexia, you can check up the alcoholists, that drink too much liquor. Also, what people die when they do starvation is the B1 deficiency. And B1 deficiency can occur when you're eating just beef and nothing else. That's why you have heard about the BBBE diet, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Why add the bacon? Yes, it's because of thiamine. The B1 vitamin are in United States. The bacon are not the same as Swedish bacon. They have more meat, mostly more cut. They have thicker cuts than in Swedish. Swedish bacon is not the same thing. So, but still, the bacon will give you B1 vitamin. That's why you should mix those. So if you eat eggs, bacon, butter, and beef, you're fine. If you just eat the beef, you have a problem. It will not last. You will get tired and you will get problem with energy. And many people have problem with that. They don't understand that the problem is the B1 deficiency. They will create, if it's just eating cooked beef. Raw beef will give you more because the nutrition will stay. You maybe get a little less uptake, yes, but you can shoot between maybe have 10% less uptake with raw or drop away or between 25 to 80% of the vitamins in the meat by when you cook it, because it happens. Different vitamins will disappear when you cook it and get destroyed. Raw meat also contains vitamin C, also raw liver. But if you cook meat and then cook the liver fully, the vitamin C is gone. You don't need a lot of vitamin C on carnivore, but you still need it. And if you eat the raw meat, you still have enough vitamin C also. So I like raw because it makes me feel better. But that's me. You have to choose for your own pathway if you want to eat raw or not. This channel is not about eating raw meat or not eating raw meat. It's just the way I do it. And if you want any information about that, I will take that and put up links to the next live show about raw meat and how the gut works and how the pH works and why Salmonella and EHEC can't survive in a human eating raw meat only, because that's the case. pH is the one thing that kills these germs, and that's why scavengers can eat dead thing that has been in the sun for days, and even humans can normally even eat that. Not everything, but we can eat meat that's gone bad if you're eating nothing else. Maybe not work perfectly, but most people will not get sick. There are many people on YouTube eating raw meat, and people that eating fermented meat also. That's weird. I don't do that. But anyway, it's possible, and many people do that without any problems. But if you want to know more about this raw meat thing and the studies behind it and how the human gut works, I will do a next live show and put up links to talk about that. This first live show is just to get started, and people that maybe follow this channel will go in and listen, and it's spreading and understand this guy maybe can talk English anyway. Not the perfect one, but I tried. I hope everyone that's not talking any other language than English understand what I say. But I don't know that. But I believe it works pretty good. But maybe can't do any, all the sentence, in English, American language. It's not that fluent for me. But as a Swedish guy that actually has not that good English from school. I learned all my English from talking to English people. I have a friend live in Finland that from United States. He's still talking English. So I talked with him for 10 years on the Messenger. Oh, sitting here for a long time is not good either. But so I talk English a lot with him, and that makes me a lot better. Also, I had all other stuff I do. I have other YouTube channels. So I also work with electronics, and I am in a Facebook group with electronics, and most people there are talking English. So I write in English mostly every day. So I think this will work. From Austria, yes, fine. Nice you can write which country you are from. It will be fun to see that. Not many have listened to this. It's the first live show, but it's fun to know where people are living. So see how this will spread, because this live show, people can watch this later. And the more people that are watching this, the more people can watch. Because I think YouTube has, I think mostly 50 people can join this channel now, because it's so fresh and not that much followers. I need to have 1,000 followers to get reaching more people, but not 1,000 can check this live show. Yes, I think it's around 50 people. So, but the more follower I get, the bigger channel can be, and I will reach more people. And this, as it look now, I will not, you can all write for free. I will not charge you. I don't want to have, earning money on other people's health journeys. There are people doing that. Yeah, there are doctors, they are influencers. I'm not that one. But I do this because I want to spread it that you can change your life. And I see that I look different in the computer. I think believe that the picture is not the same thing. But we'll see the live show after that and see if still the photo is and the video is looking good. In the phone, it's looking better than it looks in the computer. But anyway, this is the first live show, and it's nothing is planned at all. Just a free talk. I hope most people that watching this is enjoying this shit. But I will get more serious the next live show I do, or I load up anything about eating raw meat. I maybe do a video about it and try to edit and so people can watch it. But the live show is also fun to do. The people can ask stuff and I can answer them in live. Most thing I've been through, and I'm not the best one. I'm not a doctor, but hey man, you don't need to be a doctor to understand how the body works. It's not that difficult to understand the whole thing. You don't have to go into the deep in everything. The ATP or what it actually does. I know more than enough about what happens with the body when you do some things you don't have not good for you, and the food you choose to eat and what the food do to you. And as I said from the beginning, I will do a English video about nutrition deficiency and why people are getting fat because of that, and how it actually also blocks your satiety, so you don't feel when you're eating enough. It's because of the bad food. It's actually make your brain not work as it should. Also, it creates nutrition deficiency, and that's the big deal to getting fat. Now I say good night because it's late in Sweden now and I need to go sleep soon. So bye.